My name is Abigail Disney. Now I'm just going to answer your next 3 questions before you ask them. Yes, I am related. Yes, I do get into Disneyland for free. And no, he's not frozen. My grandfather Roy and my great uncle Walt came from near total poverty in the rural Midwest, and with gumption and guts and brilliance started a little company you might have heard of, the Walt Disney Company. They made a lot of money. They gave some of that money to my dad, and then my dad gave it to me. I did not do anything to earn that money. And yet, I'm about to get a huge handout from Congress. You might have heard it called a tax cut, and yes, it's a very fat tax cut for me, along with some other people and corporations, mostly in the 1%. But it's probably not going to be a meaningful tax cut to you. For example, if you work for a living, your income is probably going to be taxed at a higher rate than mine once I set up a pass-through corporation to send it through. That's right, 21%. This bill will give me this tax cut while also killing health insurance for over 13 million people. It will let me pass over $20 million along to my children tax-free. And all my friends with private jets, they get a tax cut too. In the meantime, you can say goodbye to any of the state and local taxes you write off. And if you're a teacher, you can say goodbye to writing off school supplies. My grandfather was the American dream. He was able to go from poverty to incredible wealth. That's called social mobility. With a suffocating education system, a dying infrastructure, and a national debt that will be at least $1.5 trillion bigger, that social mobility will be far out of reach for people like you. But I will be able to stay comfortably right where I am. Does that strike you as fair? I know we heard that the swamp was getting drained. But given how this bill was written, I think it's looking a lot like a nightmare from Pirates of the Caribbean. Have I made you angry yet? I really hope I've made you angry. You should be. No one who votes for this tax bill will be voting with your life in mind. But you will pay for it, and the debt it generates in cuts to Medicare, Social Security, public education, and in bills paid to your mechanic to repair the axles you break in potholes on your way to work. We've been around the block on supply-side economics now in a very serious way, and we know that it doesn't work. We know that wealth does not trickle down. My grandfather and my great-uncle relied on public investment to build the Walt Disney Company to what it is today. But more than anything, without a thriving and healthy middle class, there are no consumers for what Disney creates. I know it must seem strange to you that I'm speaking up about this tax bill when I have so much to gain by it. But if a democracy is just a bunch of people advocating for their own self-interest instead of the interests of the greater good, then we're not democracy, we're anarchy. We need to start voting and acting as citizens as though the common good matters more than our own personal well-being.